Yes. Hi, Mike. Good evening. How you going?
Yeah, good, good. It's just a little quiet there. I'm just going to see if we can adjust that volume a little bit. We'll try that one again.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Yep. Is that a little? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, that's better. That's a little bit clearer now. Perfect. So, look, thanks so much for agreeing to speak to us tonight. I know you've been absolutely hounded by the media, and you've sort of been saying a blanket no to everybody. No, 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 don't want to talk to anyone, and you've got your own things that you're doing. So we certainly appreciate that you've taken the time to join us here this evening. And I guess really just want to give you an opportunity to tell your side of the story, because of course the media shows just little clips and just shows their bits that they want to show, and they've got their agenda, and they make it out that you're a horrible woman and a terrible mother, dragging your son along to a protest,
Yeah.
and what on earth are you thinking, and all the rest of it. So if we just sort of go
Yeah.
back to the start, and you sort of explain, because I think a lot of people have seen some of the other protests, and possibly more some of the rallies, especially what went on in Melbourne on the Sunday, where there was a huge group of hundreds of people, and there were people with megaphones and microphones and portable speakers, and that's what they're envisaging that you've gone along to with your son, and that actually wasn't the case at all, was it?
Definitely not, Mike. I probably about 6 weeks ago, I started sort of when the whole COVID thing happened. I started digging a little bit deeper into our rights, and sort of you go down one rabbit hole and it opens up to a whole new thing. And I got your book, so thanks very much. And look, it was just going on intuition. I really felt that I needed to have that freedom of speech about everything going on, and it's purely just about our freedom and our rights, and the law being upheld. So look, I was actually in Queensland, and I just had this really strong intuition that I wanted to attend something or go somewhere and have that freedom. So I found Victor Tay, and really nice. He's actually a bishop or a pastor, and he expressed how he's exercising his rights down at Parliament House on the weekends, and great place to go for family to walk. And it literally is just that. I looked at his photos prior, because obviously I've never been to a protest before.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at his pictures and videos of weekends that he has been down there, and it's been a sort of a nice atmosphere, like where family is, and people are just walking, and they've got signs on them. Very innocent. There's no yelling, there's no screaming, there's no megaphones. People aren't stopping and huddling and talking and standing shoulder to shoulder. Everyone's just walking up and down on a stretch of road of probably about 70 metres from bus stop to bus stop in front of Parliament House.
Yep.
And I thought, you know what? I'm a pretty cool, calm and collected person. That's more my style.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love fitness. I haven't had a chance at all to actually go to my gym. It's been shut down, of course, over the last couple of months. So I thought, what a great way. And as I was leaving the house, I'd done my signs up that I wore the night before.
Yep.
Or 2 nights before. And so my kids obviously saw what I was doing. And obviously I'm leaving the house, and my 4-year-old son, Isaac, says, Mum, can I come with you? And I said, yeah, you want to sit here and play with your brothers, and he said, no, Mum, I want to come with you.
Yep.
I want to exercise my rights.
Yep.
I said,
Perfect.
you know what, you can come. And he said, can I do a sign too?
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, I'm not going to have time to do one with the whole sitting on you. I said, we'll get a bit of paper from the printer.
Yep.
And we wrote on here something to effect of, I would like my parks and skate parks back.
Yeah.
Off we went down there. There was police present. They were on one side of the road standing in a group.
Mm-hmm.
And we were, the people who were exercising their rights were actually on the other side. So
I might just jump in for 1 second and just clarify for people, because I've spoken to Victor. I was on a Zoom call with him last week, and he came up with the name and the group idea of exercising your rights, and he wanted to do something to sort of, bring awareness to the situation, but he still wanted to operate kind of within the system, and that's how he came up with the concept of exercising your rights. So it was a completely legitimate within their rules and regulations of people just going out and exercising, but just doing it with signs on and sending a message. So it was in no way, shape or form, a rally or even really a protest. It was just people basically exercising, but within, but with signs on, just to sort of get a message across as they were exercising. And if people can understand that picture, I think it'll make things a lot clearer. So, you certainly weren't attending a rah-rah rally or a protest as such. You were actually attending an event which was specifically designed to be operational within their actual guidelines, but just sending a message at the same time. Yeah. Exactly.
And you hit the nail on the head, Mike. Exactly, that's what it was. And, it was we were even saying, when the officers would cross the road, we were even saying, hello, good day, and they know Victor by name. He's been down there a couple of weekends. No one's ever been taken or fined or anything.
Yep.
So we were walking up and down. I was approached by O'Donnell, the police lady, and she called me up and she said something along the lines of a suspicion of me, something or other, and I just said, look, I don't consent to give you my name. Am I being fined? Have I committed a criminal offence? She said no, and I said, well, then I'm free to go. And she specifically said, yes, you are, and that's on film somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to keep exercising, and
perfect.
we literally within, probably 15 minutes. I didn't keep track of the exact time. Isaac had said, Mum, I'm tired. We'll go home. I arrived there at about 2:40ish, and this time it was about 3:40ish, maybe a bit earlier. So it was like an hour, and then it was. I could sort of, I don't know. It was just. You could see a shift happening. The police were on one side of the road in a big group, huddled.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not adhering to the COVID-19, restriction.
Yeah.
And that's all on footage too. I've actually got that on footage.
Yeah.
And the only time we did stop actually when we walked up and down was if we stopped to talk to the actual police.
Yeah.
At one stage, there was even a 10-year-old boy doing some sort of interview with one of the head police guys down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was walking. I'd got to the traffic lights to cross over into Martin Place. I'd actually, and I could see a group of police had crossed the road. They had made a human blockade, like a barrier, because I was walking sort of down another towards South End and Forest Street, and the other people exercising their rights were, including Victor and I think his wife, and they had the kids in the pram, and there was a couple of other kids.
Yeah.
They were down the north end, and the police made a block across the footpath, and it just all unravelled then, and basically I said, I'm going home now, and I crossed the road. And I had stepped, and I've got it on my own camera, I stepped out even onto the road crossing, and then I was reefed back by my wrist, and you're not going anywhere. And then it all started. We have suspicion, and I'm placing you under arrest, and what's your name? And I said, well, I haven't actually committed any offence. And that's my belief. I do not have to enter into a contract with an officer who should be there supporting us when I haven't committed an offence. I haven't hurt anybody, anyone or thing or anyone's property. Why am I being pulled up like this? So, I kind of felt she had a bit of a bee in the bonnet because I walked off on her before, and I believe she's got, I don't know, it means nothing to me, 3 stars, and I think she might have felt a little bit, that sort of the first chat we had happened in front of a couple of the officers that are with her, and whether or not that kind of sparked a little bit of a, right, I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Anyway, it just, the footage says the rest. It was, what's your name? And I'm detaining you and I'm arresting you. And there was no thing to say why, what I had done, why I'd been arrested. My rights weren't read to me. And then it was all wrist grabbing, arm grabbing. My son started screaming. I picked him up and grabbed him in a koala hold. They dragged the both of us, to the back of the paddy wagon, and that's when the adrenaline sort of kicks in. Right, I'm not going to go get thrown in here with my son.
Yeah,
I went back to the gate thinking, this has got to calm somewhere. Like, surely the group of them, one's going to pull back and say, okay, that's enough.
Yeah,
she actually hasn't committed an offence. Let's just back off. You can continue to go home as you were. You were already crossing the road. And yeah, basically, they ripped Isaac from my arms. Not long after I got to the gate, I just kept saying, get your hands off me, move away from me. You're scaring my son.
Yeah.
You're scaring him. Just move away from me. And then, yes, they threw me in the back. And I was lucky enough to have kept my phone. I tucked my phone in my sports car, and he was placed in the police car.
Yeah.
They were trying to question him without me present and without my consent. And even another lady exercising her rights came up and she said, you need to stop talking to him. His mother doesn't consent. You're not allowed to talk to him. And they kept questioning him, and I'm banging on the window saying, Isaac, don't talk, don't say anything. And I kept saying, don't talk to my son, I don't consent.
Yeah.
And, they persisted. It was like a law amongst themselves, unto themselves.
Yep.
And on our way, I made, it's funny, the media said, I updated all my followers. Well, I don't really have a big following for starters. I'm just a small little business. It's mainly friends and family. And I made a post because I didn't know what to do. I've never been arrested before. And I just said, please, somebody needs to help. I've been unlawfully arrested, and you've seen the videos. I did call my husband first and, said you need to come down and grab him straight away. This is what's happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, taking the police station, they took Isaac straight into out of the car. And I said, you need to leave my son here with me. I want him in my sight.
Yeah.
He's not to leave my sight. They just ignored me. I was in the back of the wagon. There was nothing I can do. And I just said, Isaac, I'm saying, Isaac, do not say anything. You don't need to talk to them. Like, they have no right. I do not consent to you talking to him. I just kept repeating those things.
Yeah.
So he disappears out of sight. I'm kept in the back of the wagon for 10-15 minutes. I'm trying to continue to make calls. The service was pretty bad in the car park there at Surrey Hills. I get taken, and I just keep saying, please, you need to bring my son to me. Yeah. He's distressed, and he needs his mother right now.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
need to bring him to me.
Of course.
So, I wasn't offered the chance to make any phone calls. I don't believe I was ever read my rights unless they were read, and I didn't even hear it. You sort of go into that fight mode. So that's basically it, and I was released with an infringement. My husband came to pick Isaac up, and I was released about 4.5 hours later with an infringement of $1,000.
Yep.
Due to failure to something or other with the COVID-19. That's basically it in a nutshell. And then it's just spiraled from there. Media's tried contacting me. The minute I just said, look, guys, I just need a bit of time to process this because I did want to get my story out there and what happened. I've never had the media experience before.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that they were pretty savage.
Yes.
Luckily enough, one of my good friends has actually got a few media contacts, and she does a bit of media herself, and I contacted her and she said, love, just stay away. Don't go there.
They twist and turn everything.
They'll throw you, like, they'll eat you up like a pack of wolves, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, so what happened was basically I kept on stalling and saying, look, guys, it's pretty raw. I'm just not feeling comfortable. This was Mother's Day, mind you. I had someone
of
up
course,
my door
exactly.
at 9:30 in the morning. I was still in my pajamas. And I'd already told them, no, on the phone, I'm not comfortable. I haven't even had legal representation or spoken to anyone. They were very persistent. And then Monday came, and I was trying to leave the house to take my son to school. They swarmed me in the driveway. said, Renee, look, we'd really like a story. We need you to share your side and, just trying to get that trust. So it's all BS.
Yeah.
And, we really want to share your story. And meanwhile, I've been told by other media people through friends that, no, they'll just edit and cut.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Do what they want and make whatever story they want using your words from cutting. So, anyway, so yesterday, basically, I'd given them a firm no on the phone. I'm not going to be doing any interviews.
Yeah.
I refuse to be put into that situation. If I'm going to tell a story, it's going to be on my terms. I'm going to be the narrator.
Yeah.
And once I'd given them that firm no, Mike, and my team had actually said to them, look, Renee can see you on the cameras. You're still there at her house. You need to pretty much go. We've told you no.
Yeah.
I got home about 2 hours later. They'd camped out and they'd moved from the view of my cameras.
Mm.
And the minute I pulled into the driveway, they all came swarming. Even though I had 2 kids in the car, Isaac was one of them, and my younger one. And I didn't even put the car into park, and I was like, oh, okay, I got a problem here.
Yeah.
Hit the car straight into reverse, was reversing out very slowly because they had, by this time, were on the car. Literally, I could feel them on my door.
Yeah, wow.
The microphone was right on the window, and I could, hear them slinging stuff. And, as I'm reversing out, apparently one of the reporters tripped over or got stuck somewhere. I don't even know. I haven't been told.
Yeah.
But, they were obstructing my, what do you call it, rite of passage or something. Going, they trespassed on my property.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I'm going to be dealing with the police about with the footage. They were also breaching the COVID. They're caught on camera. So, that's a whole other thing that, is going to happen tomorrow, the trespassing from the media.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, there's just so many different laws there that have been broken by both the police and the media. It's just an absolute joke. And, obviously we've spoken off air and heads are definitely going to roll. But, most importantly, we just wanted to give you an opportunity because so many people, do want to know, what actually happened. And, I mean, we've been bombarded with questions of, why on earth did this, lady take her child to a protest and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And now hopefully that you've explained it all like that essentially all you were doing was going out for an exercise session, with a couple of, signs on you. That was essentially it. Hopefully people get a completely different picture of, both you and the situation, that you are in, and will understand how even more outrageous it is that the police have acted in the way that they have. Because as you said, Victor's been doing this, this exercise your rights thing for a number of weeks now, and there's just never been any trouble. And for them to come out and just prey on a mother standing there with their kid is just absolutely horrific. And of course, this is exactly what they do. They try and set an example, and it's interesting because. There were so many comments on Facebook on the Saturday night of like, oh wow, I don't know that we want to go to the protest. Look what happened to that poor lady. But there was 10 times as many comments the other way around going, well, hang on, because of what happened to that poor lady, we have to go and protest. Yeah. And certainly here in Melbourne, there was a massive protest at Parliament House, and they received a far bigger attendance to that event. Most likely because of what happened to you on the Saturday.
I think so.
And,
I've spoken with Thanos, and I think that was the case. They, you do something like that, and you wake the beast in a lot of people.
Yeah, that's it. And people are getting fired up.
People will come out and stick together, and that's what being Australian is about, I think.
Absolutely.
Is just saying, right, we look at what happened to the lady, and it's fired up a lot of people.
Indeed, it has.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people are against, why would you this, why would you that? And look, Mike, people still aren't going to see they're still going to have their views, and that's fine. Course. Everyone's got an opinion. And if you don't like it, then stay away from social media. You don't need to leave your trolling comments.
Didn't your mother ever teach you if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not on your page saying, what's this and what's that. Like, live your life. If you don't like it, move on to the next thing. You must be pretty bored if you're sitting there, trying to comment. Like, it's not going to change what's happened.
No.
my point was to bring awareness, and
Yep.
I think talking with you, maybe you can shed some light on, okay, Renee, when you said 1, 2, 3, you could have elaborated on that, or, like as I said, I'm not a master in constitutional law, which is what should be upheld.
Yeah.
So, yeah, or maybe, you could have said this, but not this. So, yeah, for those who are listening who might want to attend and exercise their rights or just have that freedom of speech,
Yeah.
I think it's important that people need to be educated with what they know, because, of course, the government doesn't want people to know what the awakened know.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, look, you've done a fantastic thing, and as you said, you've certainly brought awareness to it. You've highlighted that we do absolutely have the right to peacefully protest. You've highlighted how absolutely desperate they are to try and stop people from doing that, and the completely unlawful lengths that they will go to try and stop people from speaking their mind and expressing their will. And we do need to go to another a song break, but when we come back, we will be covering a couple of points that you raised, and giving our listeners some ideas of other things that they can say and do. And we'll obviously be in touch with you privately and assist you in any way that we can. But I just wanted to get that message out to people and let people hear from you personally as to why you did what you did and the reasons behind it, and just give you an opportunity to get your story out to everyone, to inspire and empower them to to take similar action themselves, which is fantastic.
Great, yeah. Thanks for the opportunity, Mike. I really appreciate it, and I've been really blessed. I've had so many people from all over the world contact me. People who are in that same frame of mind of what I am, and reach out. So I really want to thank everyone too who has reached out to me and praying for me, and I just encourage more people to be comfortable about having that freedom of speech. Actually, I wasn't going to say it, but when I was at dinner, my son, just earlier on, my son started singing, rising up through the challenge of our rivals.
Yeah.
Eye of the Tiger song.
Yeah.
And I thought, you have just sung that at the most perfect time. Like, bless you. I needed to hear that. And that's what I think, rising up through the challenge of our rivals, like that's, it was just perfect for that moment. But yeah, I just felt to share that. It was, it's something I think that we need to, maybe if we all play Eye of the Tiger every morning, it might give us some, positive vibes happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. All right, well, thanks again for your time, Renee. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much, Mike.
We'll talk to you during the next couple of days anyway.
Yep, that'd be great. Thanks, Mike.
Okay,
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, see you. Bye. Bye.
So yeah, hopefully that gives everyone an idea of a little bit of the truth behind the story and the truth behind what event she was actually really attending. It's certainly not what's being made out in the mainstream media or on the Facebook posts and comments by all the trolls and all the rest of it. So